BYU volleyball withstands another team's best shot, but a star player had to be helped off the court.
We preview BYU's matchup versus UMass and how the Cougars look to bounce back after a tough loss.
West Coast Conference champion, BYU.
And BYU women's soccer looks to make a splash as they return to the NCAA tournament. I'm Haley Davis.
And I'm Nathan Israelson. It's time for Sportsline.
We start with breaking news. The BYU men's basketball team has been hit with sanctions by the NCAA.
The men's basketball team will be on probation for 2 seasons. The 2-year probation still leaves the opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament, but will leave the opportunity for worse sanctions if rules are broken again.
The NCAA determines what records will be vacated from BYU basketball in the time Nick Emery has played.
BYU will also lose 1 scholarship for the 2019 season. This is a sanction imposed by the university.
There will be recruiting restrictions. We wait to hear what these restrictions will be.
Also, there must be disassociation with the 4 boosters involved. This also is a university-imposed sanction.
BYU receives a $5,000 fine, which is a university-imposed sanction.
We now move to BYU women's volleyball as they steamrolled their opponent, the Santa Clara Broncos, last night.
The Cougars fought through the first set to win 28-26, and then began to pull away during sets 2 and 3, ultimately sweeping the Broncos. Heather Knighting led the team with 11 kills, Ronnie Jones-Perry added 9 kills, and Mary Lake held firm with 18 digs, while having 6 kills of her own. One of the Stars' outside hitters only played 1 set. The following video involves a serious injury, and viewers' discretion is advised. Miller was walked off the court early in the second set with a knee injury. It remains unknown whether she will play in the upcoming matches and what effect it will have on the team. BYU women's volleyball is still number 1 in the nation after defeating their toughest competitors yet, the Santa Clara Broncos, last night. Kim Peterson joins us to explain how these athletes are staying on top. Kim?
Game, but nothing can stop these Cougars from digging their hardest. With only 1 home game left, the team and fans are feeling pretty confident.
Our team is number 1 in the nation.
Really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Last night, the Cougars challenged their teamwork against the Broncos, a team that BYU hasn't lost to since 2015. Keeping with tradition, BYU beat the Broncos in the first set 28-26, the second set 25-17, and the third 25-11. Number 18, Mary Lake, says it was good to be challenged.
I'm really proud of how we kept our concentration and problem solved, because there were some moments that we kind of played a little up and down, but the important thing was that we huddled together, we problem solved, and we ended up having a really good match.
Fans say it was exciting to watch their team in action.
The other team got a point, BYU got a point. The other team got a point, BYU got a point. And so it was just really close. And you could feel the tension in the air. And after that, they just kind of found their groove and they just dominated.
While they were blocking, from the set, I could tell they were just doing a really good job.
With just 1 home game left, players agreed that they'll need to stay focused and keep improving their teamwork.
You know, it was a good test. We really had to fight as a team. But, I mean, we're happy with the outcome.
It's good for us. I think when we're tested like that, it fuels the fire within us, and it's good for us. We keep playing these games, especially games that challenge us. We realize how great it is to be part of this team and support each other.
The volleyball team's last home game is this Saturday against San Francisco at 1 p.m. in the Smith Fieldhouse. Seniors Lacey Haddock, Lindy Haddock-Epic, Ronnie Jones-Perry, Sydney Martindale, and Danielle Stetler will be honored pregame for Senior Day.
BYU women's volleyball has a tough record to beat. Cougar Chatter reporter Cheyanne Jackson has a look on the talk on this team's impressive no-loss status. BYU women's volleyball win streak continues. Another sweep in last night's game against Santa Clara, taking 3-0. The team is currently undefeated. BYU women's volleyball fans were chatting it up about the team's amazing block streak. BYU TV Sports tweeted a riddle. What do Legos and BYU women's volleyball have in common? The answer is blocks. Jay Brown tweeted, "Back row, we ready. Blockers, nah, we got this." I have to agree with the stuff folks don't tell you when he tweeted, "They did that." Wendy Williams put her education aside just to attend last night's game. She tweeted, "BYU volleyball greater than the paper I have due tomorrow that I haven't even started yet." I'm sure she wasn't disappointed. Cougars fans have a lot to praise to give women's volleyball, but prayers are also going up. Outside hitter McKenna Miller injured her knee during the game. Spencer Linton tweets, "We send her love and wish her a speedy recovery. It will be a huge loss." But McKenna shut that down real quick, tweeting, "No matter what, our team is going to be fine. I know it will all work out." Will the loss of a major player hurt BYU women's volleyball's squeaky clean record? Come out or tune into the last home game of the season this Saturday at 1 p.m. to find out. Back to you guys.
It's a big night for BYU women's soccer as they take on the TCU Horned Frogs tonight in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Sportsline reporter Lindsay Peterson is here to tell us what we can expect in tonight's game.
Opponent is West Coast Conference champion, BYU.
The BYU women's soccer team found out they play TCU in the first round of the NCAA tournament on Monday afternoon. BYU plays in Fort Worth, Texas tonight. The automatic bid to the NCAA tournament comes after the Cougars won the West Coast Conference Championship. BYU has won the West Coast Conference title 6 out of the past 7 years. Last season they missed out on postseason play, but in 2016 they made it to the third round of the NCAA tournament, and this season they hope to do the same thing.
Last year they had a pretty hard season, so I knew coming into this year everyone would be, heartbroken over the season that they just had, and so everyone's going to put in so much more effort and so much more work this year. So I knew this year was going to be a turning point just because everyone was just, didn't want a repeat of last year. So coming in, just everyone was working so hard.
The team's lone senior, Maddie Sidaway Gates, and head coach Jennifer Rockwood contribute this year's success to an improved offensive attack, along with having more players on the field with experience. TCU holds a 12-4-3 record while tying for third place in the Big 12 Conference. TCU only allows about 9 shots per game, while BYU averages 22 shots on goal a game. TCU is led by Kayla Hill and Maddie Warren, who both have 6 goals on the season, and Emily Alvarado, who only has allowed 11 goals. This BYU team has also received many awards this season. Coach Rockwood was named WCC Coach of the Year. Elise Flake and Michaela Callahan were named to the All-Conference First Team. Meanwhile, Bella Felino and Olivia Wade were named to All-Conference Freshman Team. We'll see how the Cougars do tonight as they take on TCU at 6 p.m. In Provo. For Sportsline, I'm Lindsay Peterson.
Thank you, Lindsay. And if you want to watch the game tonight, you can stream it live on gofrogs.com.
BYU football made their way to Foxborough to take on UMass in Gillette Stadium. The Cougars come into the game at 4-5 and the Minutemen after the game at 4-6. BYU is fresh off a nail-biting loss to Boise State, and UMass is fresh off a close victory in triple overtime over Liberty. UMass wide receiver Andy Isabella had 303 receiving yards in the game versus Liberty. Last season, UMass beat BYU 16-10, and the game was played in Provo. The Cougars and the Minutemen will take the field in the New England Patriots Stadium Saturday.
Any Cougar fans heading to UMass for the game might want to bring a winter coat because it's going to be cold. Kickoff will begin at 10 o'clock Mountain Time, and the temperature will hover in the low 40s. You can expect clear skies and sunshine as the Cougars take on the Minutemen.
The Utah High School football playoffs are underway with some championships determined today. For the 6A championships, American Fork will face off against Lone Peak today at the University of Utah. The 5A semifinals include Skyridge playing Roy and Olympus against Corner Canyon. The 5A semifinals will also be determined today when Orem and Pineview meet. For more information on the playoffs, visit maxpreps.com.
The Los Angeles Kings brought the community together last night following the shooting 2 nights ago. We'll show you the statement the players made and how the team performed.
And the BYU Rock gets fans hyped for the home opener tonight. Stay tuned to get a look at the swag they were giving out to lucky fans.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be earthquake next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Planning the right amount of food is hard. The Guestimator makes it easy. Just tell it who's coming and what's for dinner. Then it tells you how much to make. And yes, it even plans for leftovers. Try it at SaveTheFood.com.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
The LA Kings paid tribute to victims of a Thousand Oaks shooting yesterday with a moment of silence. Both teams showed support in a moment of silence and raised signs that said enough. There were also stickers on the players' helmets to match. The Kings lost the game to Minnesota Wild 3-1, and Minnesota's Zach Perez had a goal and an assist to reach 700 points in his career. The Phoenix Suns dropped a 17-point lead to lose the game in an overtime versus the Boston Celtics. Marcus Morris, a former Sun, knocked down a three-pointer with just 0.03 seconds left to take the game to overtime. The Celtics could not be stopped in the final minutes of the game, beating the Suns 116-109. The Celtics are heading up to Salt Lake today to play the Utah Jazz at 7:30 Mountain Time.
The Steelers and the Panthers battled it out last night, and you might say the result was like a Steelers sandwich.
Roethlisberger pulls it back, throws, has Juju Smith-Schuster. What a start to the night.
Steeler quarterback Ben Roethlisberger's first pass of the game went for a touchdown, and his last pass of the game did also, completing the touchdown sandwich. The Steelers stormed through the Panthers in both rushing and passing, putting up a final score of 52-21 in favor of the Steelers. Real Salt Lake will take the field Sunday in the MLS Cup Conference semifinals versus Sporting KC. Last Sunday, RSL and Sporting KC tied 1-1 after Sporting KC scored a late goal. Sunday will mark their first home game for Sporting Kansas City in the MLS Cup since 2013. RSL is coming off an upset victory over LAFC. Both teams started slow in the matchup last week, and both coaches made it a point to focus on starting fast on Sunday. The game will be played at 1 p.m. in Kansas City.
Coming up, we'll preview the home opener for men's basketball, who the Cougars are up against in tonight's matchup, and how this game could shape the rest of their season.
It's no secret that BYU students love to run for their exercise. I'll tell you the dangers they face and how it affects them coming up next.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
BYU basketball plays its home opener tonight against UVU in the UCCU Crosstown Clash.
Skipping it left wing McKay. McKay, three. Got it! McKay cannon!
BYU is coming off a loss Tuesday to Nevada in their season opener, but is back in the Marriott Center tonight. In their most recent meeting last November, BYU beat UVU 85-58. You can watch tonight's game on BYU TV at 8 p.m. Mountain Time.
You know about the basketball players and the coaches, but what you may not know about are the student managers. Chris Jacobs went to find out more. Chris, what do you have?
Well, student managers work with the basketball team and help to make sure they're performing to the best of their ability. They don't make the calls, but they do help the team follow them.
The managers are students and are there to help the team in their development. Rebounding for them, helping with drills, and even hopping into a play or two if they need the manpower.
So student managers' responsibility is to help develop the team, but help be there for their development.
They help the team to warm up at games as well, and you can spot them on the sidelines.
You can see that during games as well during practices, that we're always there to make sure guys are getting all the reps in and getting the amount of shots they can to be ready for games, but as well, like in off season, that they're reaching that progress that they want, that the coaches and themselves as players want to accomplish and achieve.
For away games, the head manager travels with the team and assists the coaches, acting as a one-man manager force.
And he's working with the team, making sure they're getting the stuff that they need to be ready for the game.
The rest of the student managers help the athletes that stay behind for things such as injuries and players who are redshirted.
Some guys do stay behind who can't play or who are redshirted, depending on what the circumstances. So we'll work with them outside exclusively.
The managers devote themselves working long weeks and irregular hours.
And then some guys sometimes want to shoot extra early. So we'll wake up at 6 a.m. and go work out with them and help them get their reps in for what they need.
So what draws these managers to the team? Cameron Macy says it's the feeling.
Where you're out on the court and the fans are going loud, and just to be part of that experience. And so that's really what drove me to it.
And of course, they are fans of the team.
Go Cougs!
If you want to see the managers helping the team and see them in action, they should be at the game tonight.
Thank you, Chris. We'll have to see if we can see any.
BYU's Rock Board works hard to get students pumped for sporting events on campus. Sportsline reporter Paul Swenson is here to tell us how the Rock is building the anticipation for tonight's basketball home openers. Paul, what has the Rock been doing for students this week?
All college students love. They're giving out free stuff.
For the past few years, BYU 50 has counted down the days until football season by giving fans throughout the country a chance at some free swag. For 50 days leading up to the football season, a box with BYU gear is dropped in each state until the day of the first game. BYU's Rock Board teamed up with BYU Sports Marketing this week to count down the days until tonight's basketball home opener by dropping similar boxes of BYU gear here on campus.
This Cougar Countdown is something that comes mostly from sports marketing, but they asked for the Rock to help get the word out about it and also post about the drops, just because the Rock has a very large student following here at BYU.
These boxes contain t-shirts, flags, car decals, and other items to help fans rep the Y this week and all season long. Along with dropping boxes here on campus, BYU basketball's social media accounts gave Utah County residents a chance to win some gear at locations from Lehigh to Spanish Fork.
There's also a Cougar Countdown that BYU basketball is doing, but it's also through sports marketing, and that's geared more towards people off campus, alumni, residents of Utah County, and then the one that we're doing through the Rock is geared more towards students here on campus.
The Rock Board and BYU basketball hope these drops will get students and fans excited to show up and be loud for tonight's women's and men's home openers. To encourage students to come to both games, the Rock Board will allow students who come to the women's game at 5 to keep their seats for the men's game at 8. While the women's team takes on UC Riverside, the men's team will look to bounce back from Tuesday's loss to Nevada with a win against crosstown rival UVU.
The Rock and BYU basketball are doing a few more drops this afternoon, so be sure to check out their social media accounts for a chance to win some free gear. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Paul. And we better hurry up and wrap the show so I can get some free gear.
Cross-country mountain region championships are underway here in Provo. The women's 6K just crossed the finish line, and number 9 BYU finished third, led by Erica Burke. The men's 10K started at noon, and number 2 ranked BYU hopes to have a strong finish. Teams that finish in first and second automatically qualify for the NCAA championships on November 17th in Wisconsin. With winter approaching, the days are getting shorter, and that could be dangerous for runners. In fact, according to a Stanford medical study, every single year more people are hospitalized for being hit while running than nearly drowning.
Sportsline reporter Adam Gibby went to find out why it is so dangerous. And Adam, what did you run into?
A lot of runners, not very much light, but a ton of traffic. Tori Stoker was out on a run one evening when the unexpected happened.
SUV turned, and while I was pushing my friend out of the way, hit my side. I ended up with only a bruise.
Tori was lucky that she was not one of the 122,000 runners who get hit by a car and are hospitalized every single year. The number one cause of this, lack of light. In fact, according to a medical study by Stanford, 80% of reported running accidents happen between 6 to 9 in the morning and in the evening hours when it's nearly dark and there's a lot of traffic. I decided to put on a vest and a GoPro to see exactly how bad the light can be in Provo around 5:30 p.m.
And as I come out on this road, the visibility is actually pretty decent. I'm on 300 north, but as I turn onto 400 east, which is one of the most used streets in the area, you'll see that as I make the corner here, almost all visibility is going to be lost. Now, if you were a car turning in or out of a driveway here, such as right here, there is no way you're going to see a runner coming by.
The lack of light is one of the main reasons why Second Wind running assistant coach Jason Colgrove does not allow his team to practice after dusk.
Definitely can't have any night practices because of that concern of a runner possibly getting hit.
Despite many believing the problem was with the drivers, some believe the issue is actually the runners. Bill Pepperone, the assistant director of Provo City Development, says, quote, even when the pedestrian is in a marked crosswalk and when the pedestrian unquestionably has a right-of-way, he or she is foolish to assume the motorist is going to stop. Wearing a reflective vest, running with a partner, and obeying all traffic laws are the safest ways to avoid an accident.
Spending 5 seconds at a stop sign is not going to cost you your job, and it'll save time, trouble, tragedy, lives even.
No matter who is at fault, the most important thing is for people to be more cautious so that everybody makes it home safely. Now, there is some good news. I talked with Eliza Hoffman, who works at the Provo Rec Center, and she told me that as the days get shorter and the temperatures drop, people are more likely to go to the gym or run during the middle of the day. Back to you.
Thanks, Adam.
Stay with us because the top plays are next. All the show-stopping moments from the past week coming next.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Todd's a great guy. I mean, Look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Truth is, I'm impressed. I haven't been asked such intelligent questions in a long time. Nice.
These are cool. Did you, what did
What?
On tip-off night for college basketball, McKay Cannon takes a slick bounce from TJ Haws, but finds out he's all dressed up with nowhere to go and kicks it back out to the deep three from Haws. BYU lost to Nevada 86-70.
Well, there's something magical about the Orlando Magic's record. Aaron Gordon is doing all that he can to put people in the seats. He takes the alley-oop pass from DJ Augustine and pays homage to the mailman Karl Malone. The Magic lost that game to the Pistons 103-96.
Wake Forest taking on 14th ranked NC State. Wake QB Jamie Newman throws it deep to Sage Surratt, and he makes an amazing catch. Check out the replay as Surratt makes it look easy. Wake Forest upset Wolfpack in rally 27-23.
Now let's take you to a look at BYU's upcoming sports this week, which include a basketball doubleheader. BYU women's basketball will play UC Riverside tonight in the Marriott Center. Following their game, men's basketball will play UVU in the Crosstown Clash. Women's soccer heads to Texas to play TCU in the NCAA tournament. Tomorrow, BYU football takes on UMass, and it's senior night for women's volleyball. That is all we have for Sportsline. Thank you for joining us.
Have a good day, and go Cougars!